Hi there everyone, and welcome back to BRM Driving School. So I'm going to be doing quite an interesting video today. I'm going to be doing a mock test with Harley here. Harley is my girlfriend. She's a full licence holder, and we're just coming up to 3 years I think it is since you passed your driving test. Because I should know that, because somewhere hidden in here I've got your driving test marking sheet. So I've got Harley's driving test marking sheet here from 15th of June 2017, so you passed with 4 faults on that. So that was a pretty good result. Now, the driving test has changed since you done your test that you passed on. Do you know what the changes are? Or
I know they got rid of reverse around the corner.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
And they got rid of the turn in the road.
Yeah.
I think there's something new about pulling up on the right.
Yeah, so there's two new manoeuvres. So they got rid of the 2 that you mentioned. 2 new ones are pull over on the right, reverse 2 car lengths, and the other one is the forward bay park. So those are the 2 new manoeuvres.
Okay.
And are you aware of the changes that have been made to the independent drive and to the show me tell me questions?
I know about something to do with the sat nav.
Yes.
That's all I know.
Okay, so when you done your driving test, the independent drive was only 10 minutes following traffic signs.
Yep.
It's now 20 minutes, and you may be asked to follow directions from a sat nav or traffic signs. The show me tell me questions are just slightly different. Your tell me question will be asked here at the beginning.
Yep.
And your show me question will be asked whilst you're moving the car. So you'll be asked to do a question whilst you're driving.
Okay.
Your test is still about 40 minutes long. There's still 1 reversing manoeuvre. You may get the emergency stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Just for anyone that's watching on YouTube, if you like what you're going to see in this video, just remember, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos. And if you want any lessons with me, I'll leave a link to my Facebook page in the description below. So is there any questions, anything you want to ask before we get ready to drive?
No, I don't think so.
Not a problem. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start straight away with following the sat nav. So just get that turned on. So I've got a route programmed for you. I'll just push the button. Just follow the blue line, follow the verbal instructions. Whilst you're doing this, I may ask you to go off route to complete a manoeuvre, or I may ask you to pull over in safe places whilst you're driving. Okay, so yeah, I'll just get that ready for you. I'll pop my seatbelt on, and if you've got no questions, in fact, actually, I should actually tell you the tell me question, because that's something I haven't done yet. So I'll do the tell me question now. I'll ask you to show me question later. Could you tell me how would you check to see that your brake lights are working? So
you would look behind you.
Yep.
On a wall or something like that. Obviously make sure that everything is still and whatnot. You press the brake pedal.
Yep.
And you look to see if it's working. Like, so if you can see the light, or you can ask someone to get out the car and look for you.
That's absolutely fine, yeah. Yeah, I nearly forgot that before we drove away. So, okay. So you're all good and ready? No problem. So whenever you're ready, turn the car on and you can drive away when it's safe to do so. Before we start, leave a comment down below. Which test centre do you think we're recording this at? I'll reveal the answer at the end of the video. As Harley approaches the first junction, Harley checks her centre mirror but doesn't check her left mirror before giving the signal. This will go down as a driver fault for not checking mirrors before signal.
first exit.
Show me question.
Okay.
So when it's safe to do so, could you show me how would you open and close your side windows?
So just go for that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll keep the windows slightly open because it is very hot today. Normally if you were doing driving tests, an examiner might say to you in a quiet moment like this, what would you normally be doing today if you weren't doing your driving test?
I'd be doing nothing because there was COVID.
Well, if there wasn't COVID, what would you normally do?
I would be at work.
Okay. So it's just one of those things the examiner will say, it just helps get a conversation going, because we both know when you're doing your driving test, someone can be very nervous whilst they're doing it. It just helps the candidate relax.
After 300 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit, then take the third left.
Up ahead is a zebra crossing where the view on the right is a little bit restricted. Harley plans well ahead here and adjusts her speed accordingly to match the conditions of the crossing.
Go right on the roundabout and take the third exit, then take the third left.
Up ahead, the priorities at this junction have changed and Harley has correctly spotted the giveaway signs and markings. Harley has slowed down to an appropriate speed to see if it was safe to continue, and has also followed the sat-nav correctly, as it's not this turning here where she's been asked to go, it's the following left.
Turn left.
Sat-nav for a few moments. At the mini roundabout up ahead, turn left.
At the end of the road, turn right, then turn left.
Okay, so ignore the sat-nav. Mini roundabout, turn left.
Okay.
Turn right, then turn left.
So just ignore anything the sat-nav says.
Okay.
Just keep following it into the car park.
Shortly I'll be asking Harley to carry out her manoeuvre for the driving test, which will be the forward bay park.
Go straight on, then turn left. Turn left, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
And then can you take the second road on the left?
Okay.
Second road on the left.
Okay.
Okay. What I'd like you to do is I'd like to drive forward into any available parking space, either on your left or on your right, finishing between the lines.
Okay.
And just remember not to go through the bay. It has to be the bays that are nearest to you.
Okay, you didn't tell me that one.
Harley didn't feel confident that this attempt would get into the bay, so has decided to reverse. Due to Harley reversing, this will go down as a fault for control on the forward park.
Are you happy with that?
I think so. Yes.
Not a problem. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem with the wording. It is the wording they would use on the driving test. They would say drive forward into any bay on the left or on the right. I've seen it a few times where the person's driven through the bay
Right,
into
yeah.
the next one, but I think it's how it's worded, so I can understand your confusion on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is to reverse out the bay, either to your left or to your right,
Okay.
and then I'll direct you to the exit of the car park.
Okay.
As Harley is reversing out the bay, she has spotted the car to her right has started moving forward, so correctly stops before going again. But unfortunately, when Harley pulled away, didn't check in the blind spot, so this will go down as a driver fault.
Turn left, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
And turn right at the end of the road.
Just so I know the BSM instructor.
As we're leaving the car park, Harley has seen a pedestrian using the zebra crossing. It is very tempting to go before the pedestrian has finished crossing,
Using Harley's car
but
for
if it
this,
is one continuous crossing, you must let the pedestrian finish crossing before continuing.
That's it. Okay. At the mini roundabout, go straight ahead, and then you'll be back to following the sat nav.
Okay.
After 100 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
And then can you pull over on the left-hand side of the road in a safe place? Ignore the single yellow line on this occasion.
Does it matter if I park over?
Don't worry about the driveways either.
After 200 yards, go right on the roundabout and take
Park
the
where it's
second
safe.
exit.
Okay.
Okay. Drive on again when you.
As Harley is pulling over, she pulls over with her left two wheels slightly on the pavement. This will go down as a driver fault for position normal stop. When the examiner asks you to pull over on the left, keep all four wheels on the road unless it's a specifically marked bay allowing you
Go
to
right
park
on the
with two wheels on the
roundabout and take
pavement.
the second exit.
two wheels on the pavement. Harley should have just pulled up just a little bit further forward next to the raised curb with all four wheels on the road. And as Harley pulls away, there was no blind spot check on the left hand side, so this will go down as a driver file.
After 200 yards, turn left, then turn left. Turn left, then turn left.
Pull over on the left, about a car length away from the next parked car on the left. Don't worry about any driveways on this occasion.
To 200 yards, turn left, then turn left.
So I'll do that, that's fine. Drive on again when you're ready.
Turn left, then turn left. Turn left.
Because I know you don't have to signal there because it just goes around the corner.
Do that one.
Up ahead, I noticed that there is an error with the sat nav, so I'll give Harley some guidance on where to go. This is due to a new road being built and the sat nav not being up to date with the new road layout.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a bit of guidance here with the sat nav because it goes a little bit funny here looking at the sat nav screen. So when we get to the end of this road, the road will split in two directions.
Yeah.
Like to go right at the split and then straight ahead at the crossroad.
Okay.
And so it'll be next road on the right and then straight ahead at the crossroad. And that'll be the end of the independent drive. I'll direct you
After
as normal
100
from here.
yards, turn around when possible,
So just
then
ignore the
turn
sat nav.
right.
Because when I designed this route, I haven't actually tested it. At the end of the road, turn left.
Okay.
Because I've got the sat nav to make us go left here. But obviously, this has been such a new road.
Road, yeah.
Because it is a brand new road, the sat nav doesn't recognise it.
Yeah, it's a brand new housing estate.
At the traffic lights, turn right.
In a few moments, Harley will commit a serious fault. When the traffic light goes green, the traffic on the opposite side will also have a green light. Due to Harley turning right, this means that she would have to give way to any vehicle as she's crossing their path. The van on the opposite side does have a bit of hesitation before approaching, so Harley does think it's okay to turn, but unfortunately at the moment that Harley commits to turning, the van also decides to go at the same time, and we inadvertently force them to slow down. So this will go down as a serious fault for crossing traffic.
Pass your test. What things have you got up to since you passed your test and you were driving by yourself?
I've driven to lots of places that are far away.
What's the furthest you've driven to? Lovely place to be, isn't it? At the end of the road, turn right. Can you take the next road on the left? When you get to the end of the road, turn left.
Okay.
At the traffic lights, turn left.
As the green filter light has come on, Harley has pulled forward and has noticed the lorry on her left has started turning a bit too early, so does slow the vehicle down to avoid a collision and allow the lorry around her.
out. So I'd like you to turn left at the first one, straight ahead at the second.
Okay.
As we approach the end of the road, Harley has left her signal until quite late, and as a result has missed a left mirror check before giving the signal. As Harley is pulling out of this junction, she's still looking to the right and not to the left, so the net result will be the steering is a bit wide when pulling out of this junction, so we'll receive a fault for steering.
When we came down here before we started the video, we'll get turned round at that bit by the gate. So just take your time as you do this, as you're not being marked on this.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that's the end of the test. Now, they wouldn't ask you this on your actual test, but how do you think you did on that?
Probably quite badly.
Do you think you would have passed or failed?
I think I probably would have failed.
If that's what you're thinking, what do you think you failed on?
I don't really check my blind spot that I do know.
I did notice that a couple of times.
Yes.
You would check your right blind spot, but not your left.
Yeah.
But I will let you know, it wasn't for... It isn't down as a pass, but it wasn't for that, although it was very close.
Okay.
Shall I tell you... Do you want me to let you know where it happens?
Yeah, you can tell me.
Okay. So, what I've got is I think it's down 9 driver faults, but 1 serious. I just counted. It's 1, 2, 5, 7, 9. Yeah. So 9 driver faults, 1 serious. Your serious fault was, you know, we're on that new road that we're talking about, the one that's Sono. It's not actually appearing on my sat nav for some reason. I asked you to turn right at the traffic lights.
Yes.
And did you notice that red van coming towards us?
Yes.
Yeah. So what should we have done?
I'm not sure on that one because...
If it was a crossroad and you were turning right, would you give way to that vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly the same thing at traffic lights.
Okay.
If you're turning right at traffic lights and you're crossing the path of somebody, you must give way to them.
This is the problem because he wasn't
He was a bit hesitant, yeah.
Because he could see I had my indicator on, and it's kind of one of those, right, what are you doing? Are you turning? Are you not turning? Because I saw he had his indicator on, but if he wanted me to go first, he should have let me go first, or vice versa. But this is the problem.
Yeah, it was, you know, it can be a problem of hesitation, you know, we're talking about his end, not on your end.
Because I didn't want to not go.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just sit there and have people go beep, beep at me, because I wasn't moving.
Yeah, but the issue was at the time you committed to go in.
He then committed to going.
He committed to going,
So it was kind of his fault, not
mine. I think we could have dealt with it a lot better, is probably the best way of saying it. I think the safest thing would have been to stop, let them see, you know, see what's happening with them, and then make our decision from there. Because, like, you know, we had this problem when you were doing your driving test, because you'd done a test in Aylesbury, where you had quite a bit of hesitation at a roundabout and nobody was really sure what was going on. So that can be the problem with hesitation, but we're talking about on their end, which then caused you to think, oh, he's not going to go, I'm going to go. But at that point he committed to going. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, that was just the one serious fault. There are 9 driver faults. 2 of them I think is because where you've been driving for nearly 3 years, not really in the learner mode, should we say. So 2 of them were for position normal stops, so stopped 2 wheels on the curb over a driveway. It's one of those when you're a learner, when the examiner says pull up in a safe place, all 4 wheels on the road, unless it's like a specifically marked bay that's half on the pavement. But I think that's just where you haven't been a learner for 3 years.
And that's what I would ordinarily do. Because...
Which is what they wouldn't want you to do on the driving test. Yeah. Okay. So 2 for use of mirrors before signalling. One of them was at the very beginning when we started. You're checking this mirror, but we're not checking the side mirror. And that was the same again near the finish.
Probably I checked that one and that one, but not that
one. Yeah, it's left mirror checks when you're we're not doing that before we're giving the signal on 2 occasions. You got this is the one that came up most frequently, was move off safety, and it was, as you were saying, it was checking the blind spots. You're checking
right
to the right, but we're
not to the left.
Yes. Yeah, we've got to check all the way left, all the way round to our blind spot on the right, and every mirror in between. Okay, but that one's quite an easy fault to get rid of. And then the last 2 faults were just 1 fault apiece on each of these 2. 1 for steering, so that was near the end.
I think
a bit wide.
Wide
when we turned out, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then the last one was the forward bay park when you were going in. I didn't think you needed to reverse when you were going in. I think had you just kept on going, you would have got in the bay. But
I felt like I wouldn't have done. That's why I sort of went no, wasn't happy with that.
Yeah, I think you would have got in. It would have been very close, but you would have got in. But the fault is because you had to reverse. That's where the fault comes in, because we didn't get in on the first attempt. But you know, that's like really like a minor, should we say, or minor driving fault if you want to be technical. Okay. So yeah. So did you find that useful? Doing that that driving test there?
I did, but I didn't because it's sort of. Because I've been driving for nearly 3 years. Yeah.
Is it like some habits you think you may have picked up in that time?
Because I think a lot of people, when they pass their test, like the majority of people I know, they don't check their blind spot. They'll check this one, but not this one.
Yeah, it's an easy habit to forget to check around.
You just, once you pass your test, you don't do it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what most people tell me when I ask them. They're like, they'll either be, I check this one, but I don't check this one, or I don't check at all and just use my mirrors.
Yeah, so it's sort of like, you know, a habit that's been picked up over time. Yeah, because that was similar when I was training to become a driving instructor. I'd done a mock test, and I'll tell you what, I did far worse than this. I thought I was a good driver, and my instructor trainer told me I wouldn't have passed the learner test, let alone the driving instructor one. So, you know, it is something that does happen over time. We do pick up bad habits.
Yeah.
But in a way, do you think being made aware of it now is going to help change it going forward?
It might, but it might not, because
It will change it going forward. That's what we want to hear. But in terms of the route,
it wasn't too bad. It was fine. But
Yeah.
then, if I was somewhere I didn't know, then I probably would have struggled. But because I know Wickham like the back of my hand,
yeah, and
it's not difficult for me.
Yeah, and just for anyone watching on the camera, it was a completely made up route. I've never done a driving test here in Wickham, so this is just all made up. So that's probably why we had just a little bit of the sat nav where it didn't know about that road, because I just hadn't tested it on the sat nav. I made it, but I hadn't tested it.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the problem with this whole thing that we're in at the moment.
Yes.
You know.
And I think, like, because normally you teach in Oxford, if I'd have done it in Oxford, I probably would have failed as well, because you know what I'm like when I drive in Oxford.
I know you hate it there, don't you?
I absolutely hate it.
No problem. No worries. But yeah, so I was going to ask just before we go, is there any questions, anything you want to ask?
Not that I can think of. I think you explained everything pretty clearly and
No
concisely,
worries.
so
Yeah, just, you know, take the knowledge going forward.
yeah.
No worries. Alright, so that'll be the end of this video here. If you liked what you saw, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. And would you want me to make more of these? This is just a test, just whilst we're in this quiet time, shall we say. You know, or maybe I should make a more frequent series if you're interested. You know, if you want to take part, I'll leave a link to my Facebook page. Just send me a message on there, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I think we're going to go off and do some shopping now, aren't we? Mm-hmm. No problem. Alright, so that'll be all for now, and we'll see you all next time.